I might have a week of upset stomach, runny nose, and headache. That's the profile for Kratom as well.
I would like to leave a copy of the letter that me and my former federal colleagues in scheduling did for the Controlled Substances Board, because it also lists 8 or 10 other substances that all can produce dependence, tolerance, but are not scheduled.
And then just want to follow up to, I just want to make sure I heard this correctly. You said 87% of opioid users that have switched to Kratom.
This was in my survey by my colleagues in my department at Hopkins. I did not have input. I independently did a separate study that came up with similar findings. 2 other surveys came up with similar findings. But so they were looking at people that were reporting use for opioid, and they were finding it for opioids, and they were finding it very helpful in reducing withdrawal. And that wasn't surprising. We convened the leading experts from around the world. We had an expert from every lab that had done a human or animal study in a virtual think tank, and it was published a couple of months ago with the expert opinions of that group. It became the hottest download from the scientific journal.
What kind of time?
If I could,
I just want to jump on real quick too with the 87, the same kind of findings that you found. What kind of timeline was that study kind of survey conducted over? For the opioid dependency being weaned off if they were to?
What we find is that in people, generally they make the substitution on their own over a period of usually days, weeks, or even months. My colleague at Hopkins, her son, it was a process. It was a gradual process. He couldn't function on buprenorphine. He tried drug-free clinic, and then he was miserable. He started using Kratom, and then he got kicked out of the clinic. So he was on his own, but over a period of months. Usually getting off of addiction is not an event, it is a process. For most people, months, weeks, years, lifetime.
Yeah, and I'll send you this Johns Hopkins study. What I intended to say, and I hope I didn't misstate it, is that 87% reported a relief from withdrawal symptoms, and so that was what it did. And then subsequently, 35% replaced the opioid they withdrew from with Kratom. Not that they're connected in that sense.
Gotcha, thank you. No, just from everything that I've heard, and thank you for testifying very much, is that the right to try Kratom has a great impact on the opioid crisis our state is facing.